Welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. David Amakobe. I work for W500G Incorporated. In this channel, I discuss organizational behavior, social and behavioral research. Organizational behavior or social behavior is the impact individuals, groups, organizational structures and organizational processes have on behavior within the organization or within society. And today, we'd like to discuss how we mitigate biomedical innovation hesitancy amongst Black, Indigenous, and people of color. The hesitancy that is amongst Black people and Indigenous people and people of color for biomedical research innovations is rooted in the history of research, where the subjects of research have been predominantly Black, Indigenous, and people of color. They have borne the burdens of research, but the benefits of the research have gone to different people. That history informs the hesitancy that is now currently being reflected amongst Black, Indigenous, and people of color for COVID-19 vaccine. It is because historically the results or the process and the systems and the structures of research has not treated people of color fairly. They have abused them. And the hesitancy, when a population does not plan to receive a vaccine or is unsure of receiving the vaccine or any other biomedical innovation, when there is a hesitancy for a specific population to do it, particularly the Black, the Indigenous, and the people of color, is rooted in that. And it is this elephant in the room that we need first to face before we can get over the burden of innovation adoption as we know it. In a new innovation, there is always hesitancy. There are the early adopters and the laggards. Okay? Those who wait and see whether it will work before they can use it. That's normal with any innovation. But with the current vaccine for COVID-19, the fact that the COVID-19 itself is new, and the fact that there are mixed messages from people in authority as to the severity of the pandemic, combined with the compressed development timeline without explanation, creates an environment of distrust or increases the distrust. So we need to be able to explain to people First of all, we have to deal with the historical abuse of black Americans in biomedical research. Put that one to bed first. Agree that there's been a long-standing systemic racism and discourse scientific misconduct which has made these particular communities distrustful. After we put that one to bed, then we can deal with the other normal innovation hesitancies. And to explain this in an empathetic manner such that the populations can understand, that we understand their hesitancy, that we know the root cause of the hesitancy, and that those root causes are being addressed. It's not something that we can brush aside and say that was a long time ago, but because we know for sure that data indicates that black, indigenous, and people of color have been hit hard by this pandemic, and that data has been available to people in authority, and they have used the data to decide that this pandemic is not that serious, meaning it's affecting populations or communities that don't seem to matter. So with the information available and decisions being made that make the situation worse, it just compounds the distrust. So first, we have to deal with the long-standing systemic racism and the historical scientific misconduct. Put it out there. Explain to the people that we know it and we are handling it. And then deal with the other reasons that may bring hesitancy, like religious messages that claim that the technology that's being used has some tracking ability, like that the compressed development timeline was political, like the COVID-19 is not as severe as we say it is, or that like it's new because it was generated in the lab. All those are subsidiary to people's fears that they may be abused again. So, if you are in a position of influence, you need to be able to explain to people the root causes that you understand that COVID-19 has amplified the socio-economic factors that contribute to higher infection rates among black, indigenous, and people of color, and that results in poor health outcomes, that you understand that. That also these populations are more likely to be in positions or jobs that are put them on the front line in places where they get infected faster. That the impact of COVID-19 on this population is not genetic, but it's environmental. Still, those environmental factors put them at risk, and they put them at risk as that group. So, to be able to get 70 or 68% of the population vaccinated, we must make sure that almost 70 or 80% of black, indigenous, and people of color also get vaccinated. But to do it, we need to get their confidence. And to build their confidence, we need to make them understand and know that we appreciate where they are coming from. We appreciate the fact that historically there has been systemic racism in the healthcare system, and there have been abuse of these populations in biomedical research, and that is being taken care of. After that, we need to explain that the compressed timeline of development of this vaccine and other biomedical research innovations is because of the development of technology, not of the political or managerial pressure, but that because our technology has moved on, and that viruses occur in nature, and when they skip from one species to another, they may mutate and create the pandemic like we have, that it's not something that was created notoriously. So we have a complex situation, a human, environmental, and medical, but scientifically we have been able to break the code for says we have the vaccine, we have to keep the social distancing, we have to keep washing our hands, we have to keep wearing our masks, but we also have to avail ourselves of the vaccine. But we have to understand that the vaccine was developed fast because the technology and the science was there and was growing. With that, we will be able to get everybody vaccinated without fear that they are getting something that is not supposed to be there. So, in summary, vaccine hesitancy occurs when a population either does not plan to receive a vaccine or is unsure about receiving it, or biomedical innovation hesitancy occurs when a population is either does not plan to use it or is unsure about it. And that, in this particular case, has resulted from the fact that the coronavirus is new, that there have been mixed messages, that there is concern about the compressed development timeline, and there is also concern about the fact that people think it could have been mixed with politics. But the big elephant in the room is the historical abuse of black, indigenous, and people of color in biomedical research. And the last one is the faith part of it. To be able to communicate this effectively, we must provide content. We must provide accurate content, like this one I'm providing. And it must be tailored to the community's values and priorities. And they come from trusted messengers. This video is addressed completely to those trusted messengers, the faith leaders and influencers in different communities, or different black, indigenous, and people of color communities. We need to have effective communication to our population so that we can be able to share the fact that a pandemic can only be stopped by everybody chipping in. This is not a situation where one person can solve. If if all of us don't contribute, all of us fail. We need 60 to 70% of the population to participate such that we can be able to get this pandemic under control. And that will only happen in a free society when we can be able to talk to people until we are on the same page. That we've dealt with. The pandemic has amplified those factors. We know that black people, indigenous people, and people of color are more prone to be in essential work positions and live in housing situation arrangements that they find difficult to avoid exposure to COVID-19. We also understand that they may be hesitant because of historical reasons. That understanding is very important. Without which we cannot succeed, because we will lack the empathy to talk and communicate to the people we want to make sure that they get vaccinated, they do social distances, they wear masks, and they keep washing hands. So we got this from the National Institute of Health Sciences write-up. You can see it. And I hope you have gained something out of this. We at W500G hope to contribute to the messaging such that we can get all communities vaccinated while they keep this self-distance, while they keep wearing masks, and while they keep washing hands. We have to keep washing our hands, we have to keep wearing masks, we have to keep social distancing, and we have to avail ourselves to take the vaccine when our turn comes, because this is a community endeavor. We are all in this together. We either succeed or fail together. So, to be able to get this virus under control and earn the trust of black, indigenous, and people of color, we need to say that the science is perfect, has improved, and the historical racism and abuse is being medicated because everybody is on the watch out. We cannot say that it cannot happen, but we should be aware that it can happen, but it's not happening because everybody is looking out for it. So get out there. When your turn comes to get a vaccine, or when there is a biomedical innovation to adopt, keep your eyes open, keep asking questions, but be on the table so that we can all work together to keep ourselves healthy. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one.